In the name of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Good afternoon. I used to say, usually I say good morning. Good afternoon, everybody. Nice to see you. I'm glad to be here with you. A grand and glorious occasion. I am George Keith. You know my name. I am retired and free to speak my mind.
Bishop, what's
So
word?
some of what I may say today, you might find begging critique. That's fine. In my old age, I am more inclined to stirring the pot than I used to be. Today, I hope what I stir up may be beneficial to you, and especially, Michael, to you. I have spoken at ordinations before. The format of an ordination sermon seems preordained. Oh, you laughed. I wondered if you there's a world of approaches, themes, and formats that lend themselves to ordination. But today is different. Today, my friend and colleague is being received into the ordained community of the Episcopal Church. Michael has been a priest for many years. I'm thinking 30. Is that close to right? 40. Well, congratulations. My remarks may not be usual or even appropriate for the service of ordination, but I hope they're appropriate for the service that we're celebrating this day. The question is, what do you say on the occasion of a priest that many years changing denominations? I have some thoughts. What is a priest anyway? A priest is an interdenominational concept, I guess. Many denominations use the term, not all do though. The best definition I have of a priest is one who takes God to the people and takes the people to God. The link between God and God's people. One is not made a priest in one moment. One has to become a priest over time. One has to learn how to be a priest. That learning is a lifetime endeavor. No matter how long one is called to be a priest, the becoming takes the rest of one's life. When one is a new priest, the tendency is to have the mindset of going out there and showing the world, for sure showing the diocese, how it should be done. I remember my own thoughts about 30 years ago. I thought I knew much more than I knew, and I thought the church needed me much more than it did. But I was involved in evolution. Wise people learn. Many times it's learning the hard way to learn to do the job. I started out as a priest believing that I should preach for 20 minutes every Sunday. It didn't take many Sundays for the people to re-educate me and teach me that 10 minutes is plenty. More than that means you're making the service long enough to last an hour so that the people feel like they're getting their money's worth. Michael is a great, wonderful priest. He has touched many lives, influenced many people, including the denominational structure. Michael is a priest. What do I say to you and to Michael on a day like today? What do I say to one who has learned, who continues to learn, and who needs to learn even more? There is a place, an important place, for clergy experience, and shall I say it, clergy age. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. But another thing the world needs is a church ministering wisdom that only comes from experience, which many times comes from age. So what do I say to someone with, you say, 40 years experience and a history of many accomplishments that have benefited many people individually and collectively and institutionally for decades? Well, to begin with, as it has been for over 2,000 years, the church is a mess. It has always been a mess. It is a chaotic mess. The needs are massive. The controversies are overwhelming. The people are needful. The community of the ordained are needful. The world is needful. Keeping that in mind, after all these years, after all this time praying, all this time worshiping, we as Christians can't even agree on what the church really is anyway, let alone all of the different aspects of the church. Agree in the church? We can't agree on what salvation is, or baptism. What does baptism mean? Or the Eucharist, or theology itself. The needs of the past, the needs of today, and the needs of the future present a formidable burden. What is the need? The basic and most important need is the need we often overlook. We many times want to solve needs that are not necessary to be solved. And by involving ourselves in the broad needs, we sometimes forget the most important. The most important is intimacy with Jesus, with God, the Spirit. Intimacy, personal, deep, enduring, steadfast, eternal, perpetual, and probably a lot of other things as well. What is the need? Intimacy with Jesus. We all need to reevaluate from time to time. We need to reconsider the outdated, renew our commitments, and rethink our priorities. We need to be the church. We need to follow Jesus' teachings. We need to learn what those teachings really are and go forth into the world motivated by his true teachings. We need to forget the pious behavior, the arrogance of things being universally correct, the uselessness of power, the disappointment of success. My 30 years in church have led me to believe that the image of the church and the actuality of the church is not as we think it is. Many out there see the church in general and the Episcopal Church in particular as unnecessary in today's culture, especially in today's American culture. The one thing that can help redirect ourselves from imitation Christianity to authentic Christianity is that one thing I've already mentioned: intimacy with Jesus. My great hero was and is Bishop Tutu. He embodied the spiritual existence of Christianity. I never saw the slightest arrogance or saw the slightest hint of hatred in him. I never saw any indication of his presence without the love of Christ leading him on. When I was serving in New York City, ever so often, Bishop Tutu visited New York, and I had the opportunity to see and hear him living out his Christianity. It was obvious to me that he had intimacy with Jesus. Each time I saw and heard him, I was moved to tears, as was most of the others present. So, Michael, my charge to you today is you must be the next Bishop Tutu. No, there's only one Bishop Tutu. But there is a place in this world, in this denomination, in this diocese, and in this parish for you to represent Jesus. You too have what it takes to live without arrogance, without hatred, but filled with God's love, sharing God's love and moving this community forward with your love, moving the people here today and those who will be touched by your love as new people learn to know and love you. What you have within you leads to the essence of Christianity, which in turn touches others with your heart and moves people from where they are to where they need to be, with tears in their eyes, with love in their soul, and with God in their minds. May the blessing of tears, love, and God's wisdom help you to further your and our understanding of what is meant by the salvation of souls, for instance. What is meant by the power of the Holy Trinity living within. We're in an eager and needful world which cannot exist without God's people doing God's work. Without priests teaching and motivating God's people. Even, my friend, with Episcopal priests ministering with beauty and grace, pardon this term, and fine literature. Is that one of the things that the Episcopal Church is known throughout the world for doing? Fine. Michael, God bless you. We love you. The church needs you. So do I.